Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Time for a Sunday Q&A. Alright, an old-fashioned Sunday Q&A. I hope you guys are having a good weekend, and we're going to go ahead and get started here so that we can get through our Q&A and comments, suggestions, and also today I want to announce what we are going to be doing a giveaway for on the next drawing. Okay, so let's get through some Q&A first. And we're going to start right off. Let's see now, this video that we're doing the Q&A from is this was the video on how the Federal Reserve is pretty much the biggest real estate owner in the country, in my opinion. But that's what I see. And the first comment here that I wanted to look at was this, just in case some of you do not know this. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you've been following this channel for a little bit, that you probably already know this, but just in case some of you don't know this, okay? Here, Braindead Prepare says, the Federal Reserve is a private bank that could care less about the American people, all right? And for those of you that do not know this, all right, just in case there's a few of you out there that don't know this, the Federal Reserve is not a government institution, right? They threw the word federal in there so that, I guess you can call it perception management, you know, or suggestive reasoning, all right? Those are some techniques. Let me give you an example of what suggestive reasoning is. Let's say you're operating a coffee shop, right? And it's the beginning of your shift. And you put a tip jar up on the counter. But that tip jar is empty, right? Because it's the beginning of your shift. What do? You take and you put a $5 bill in there, or you put a few $1 bills in there and a 5 of your own money, right? So that when people look at it, they think to themselves, well, some people have already tipped, so I think it's just appropriate for me to leave a tip. But if you put a tip jar in there that's empty, it's going to suggest to people that maybe they don't have to tip you, or maybe that they don't feel obligated to tip you, but most people probably will. So throwing the word federal in the name Federal Reserve, all right, instead of like in the past before the Federal Reserve came along, when the central banks were chartered, meaning that they had a time frame before they had to be reinstated as a federal bank. You know, they had a beginning and an end. It wasn't forever like this system is now. Before them, they used to be called the National Bank, right? So National Bank of whatever, of the U.S., National Bank of this, or whatever it is. But we've only had, I think, three central banks previous to the Federal Reserve. It was either 3 or 2. I think it was 3. But that's suggestive reasoning. That's them throwing a name in the title that suggests to you that it's got something to do with the government when it doesn't, right? The Federal Reserve is a private institution, all right, owned by private stockholders, all right? And the only thing that stockholders worry about is the bottom line, okay? So, and Braindead Prepare also here. It's hard for me to call him Braindead Prepare because I know him as Braindead New Yorker. But he also mentioned here that there's a great book out there that teaches everyone about the Federal Reserve, if you want to read it. And the name of the book is called The Creature from Jekyll Island. And it is authored by G. Edward Griffith. Okay, so here, yeah, I actually put it here, G. Edward Griffith. He authored The Creature from Jekyll Island, and it is very revealing, and I personally feel that that book ought to be mandatory reading to every school-going child out there. I mean, my daughter, she's 11, and she's already got a copy of her own, all right? So, good comment there, Braindead. And this is another great comment right here. And I'm only going to read the very first part because this is such key. This comment right here makes so much sense, okay? Stephanie writes, such a complicated system, all right? The Federal Reserve is such a complicated system. And ladies and gentlemen, why do you think they make it like that? They make it complicated so that the average person, so that the average business, you know, does not have the what do you call it? They don't have what they need. You know, they don't have the assets required to manipulate that system, to go around it, to understand it as best as they can. The opposite for large corporations. Believe it or not, really big corporations, they love regulations. You know, they love all of these taxes that they pass because they have the capital, all right? They have the money that they need in order to hire hundreds of lawyers, and in some cases thousands of lawyers, to find the loopholes through all of the laws and regulations that are passed so that they can get by. I don't know if this is 100% correct, and if it was this last year, like 2017 or the year before, but I remember reading somewhere that General Electrics made billions of dollars in profit, and not only did they not pay any taxes that year, but that they got back $1 billion in a tax refund. All right, why is that? Because they are able to hire leagues of lawyers, right, and accountants and CPAs and all this stuff, you know, all these people that are experts in knowing how to read the law and how to get around the law, all right, so that their company benefits. And the average mom and pop out there is not going to be able to do that. So this is really a very fitting statement here. Such a complicated system. That's exactly what they want it to be. Let's see. Let's carry on here. We're going to try to make it a little quick, ladies and gentlemen, because it's early Sunday morning. And I have to upload this so we can premiere this at noon. Hopefully, a few of you will join in. Let's see. Vincent here left a reply. It says, I think I was talking about, I was talking about a vehicle loan that I took out, a small vehicle loan for where I got paid 2.49% interest. And Vincent here says, your vehicle loan might be 2.49% flat rate. Every month you are paying interest based on the original principal amount you have borrowed instead of reducing the principal amount as you paid down your loan. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Vincent. In this conversation here that I had with JT, I was telling her that I don't understand. Well, I do understand, but I went out and took out a small loan. Okay, I don't really believe in taking out big loans. I took out a small loan to buy my Suburban that I bought about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And it was a used vehicle when I purchased it. And usually when you take out a loan on a used vehicle, the interest rate is a little higher than if you buy a new loan, okay? My credit is pretty good, but I was surprised that when they offered me the loan on that vehicle, it was like 2.49%, which is, at that time, it was a full 50 basis points or 0.5% lower than what the 10-year bond was going for, which was going at about just shy of 3%, I would say. Okay, and I asked the banker or the loan manager, I asked her, how can you guys afford to give me a loan at 2.49% when the 10-year is going for about 3%? And I could tell by the way that she looked at me that she had no idea what I was talking about. And I already knew the answer. And the answer is because they're not paying interest on that money that they loaned me, because they just made that money up. That money didn't exist until after that banker signed that document that said that I got that loan. That money did not exist until after that time. So that's why they can afford to do it. Okay? But I'm not sure exactly what the question is here that you have, Vincent. Okay. Yep, and it doesn't look like too many people here are for the Federal Reserve, which it's really amazing. You know, if people don't understand how much control these people that we elect have over our lives, I guarantee you that most of the people, I mean, I would bet money on this, that most of the people in the U.S. feel that the Federal Reserve should be audited. But why hasn't it been audited? A complete and full audit, not a partial audit, okay? A complete and full audit. The reason it hasn't been audited is because the 535 that are sitting up there, all right, on Capitol Hill, they know that if the people understand how the Federal Reserve works, that overnight there's going to be pitchforks coming out demanding that this system be ended. At least that's my opinion. All right. Yeah, and Hoot Owl here says that in 1999 there were a lot of predatory loans going out with finance companies. Yeah, I know, and a lot of people got hurt. Not only in 1999, but in the mid 2000s. You know, when we were building up to that 2007, 8, and 9, you know, climax, where the housing bubble burst. You know, usually whenever there's cheap money, you're going to find predatory loans. Whenever there's cheap money, i.e. low interest rates, you're going to see a lot of commercials. You're going to see a lot of bankers, a lot of mortgage companies advertising for loans. Let's see, which one's coming up next here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go to that one. And then let's see if this one's ready. Okay, this one is right. Good. Let's see, and this is this one. It says 10 years after recession, U.S. sees rising inflation. And yes, and I mean, I can notice rising inflation every time I go to the store. I mean, sometimes I will show up and something that I saw a week or 2 weeks prior is up by, you know, 40, 50 cents. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but for something that was $2 or $3 to be going up by even 25 cents, you know, that's more than 10% on a $2 item. And these things do add up, and they do hurt the people that are at the lowest rung of the socioeconomic ladder. Those are the ones that get the hurt, that get hurt the worst. And John D here says, don't worry, rising interest rates will crush the economy. Housing and car market will disappear. That's right. And he says, elites don't want workers to get too wealthy and financially better off. And that's true. You know, that's a good statement. You know, the system is in place to make sure that you stay in debt. Because without debt, without consumerism, without people continuing to get into debt to buy and buy and buy more, the system won't last very long. Here, Wendy has a comment here, and it doesn't look like I replied to it, so let me read it off. It says, I agree and get all that you said about finances, especially having tangible wealth in food items and silver. My only thought I have as far as tariffs, though, is that considering the fact I have no real say over what our government and companies do, I at least feel satisfaction our companies are here and American workers have more jobs. Even if I pay more, it's fine. I am certain I will pay more without any choice anyways. Even without tariffs, someone will always screw us. I can have my fairy tale delusion and at least more Americans have jobs now. And that's true. That's true, Wendy, and that's a good comment. It is a fact that people need things, right? People have to have things. Now, you have two choices. If you're, and I'm just going to pick an appliance. If your toaster breaks down, you have two choices. You can either fix it or you can throw it away and buy a new one. Okay, it just depends on how bad you want that toaster. Okay, but if it's things that we really need to have to live, like food, you know, medicine, things like that, then that's where it gets really difficult. But what Wendy's saying here is that if we're going to have tariffs, and if the tariffs are going to bring jobs back to the U.S., that she'd rather have the tariffs. And my point is that, this is my point, I want jobs in the U.S. I want our economy to be doing really well, naturally, you know, without any cheap money from the Fed, without any crony capitalism where some companies are favored over others. I want the free market to exist. However, you can't have your cake and eat it too. All right. In order for there to be a free market, in my opinion, there can't really be exorbitant tariffs. All right. Now, the U.S. has more than 12,000, 13,000 items that we impose tariffs on. But we're not the only ones. You know, we're just trying to even the playing field. All right, because other countries have exorbitant tariffs on things that are going in there. So we're just trying to even the playing field now. The only problem is with this tariff war is that the people that pay the price is the end consumer. Okay, I can tell you one thing. When I first started building my home here in Alaska, I remember the price of a 2x4. So a 2x4 by 8 foot long piece of lumber. Okay, I would say 3 years ago was 95 cents. Okay, it was 95 cents 3 years ago. Today I can go to the store, I can go to Lowe's and buy a 2x4 by 8 for just a little over $4. Okay, about a year and a half ago, the 2x4 was about a little over $2, right? And that's when that tariff was imposed on Canada for lumber. And our lumber, literally in a month, our lumber went up from $2, or that piece of 2x4 went up from $2 to over $4 in literally 1 month's time. And I was actually grateful that it happened when it did, because when the price of lumber up here jumped like that, I was almost done building my house. I only had a few other things to actually build, you know, frame build. You know, I still have to do some things to my house, but as far as buying large quantities of lumber, I was pretty much done with that. I had already purchased most of the lumber that I was going to need. But yeah, that's what tariffs does. It may be helping some companies, but we, the end consumer, end up paying a lot more for the same exact thing. Because that 2x4 that I bought 3.5 years ago or so, compared to the 2x4 that I bought here last year, it's the same thing. They do the exact same job. They have just as much wood as the other one did. I'm just paying 4 times more for it now. Okay. And what video was this? Oh, this was 10 years after the recession. We're seeing inflation. Okay. JT here says, nobody listens to me when I tell them that they better go out and buy what they want now, because prices on anything made with imported materials is going to go up. Now I'm going to go to count my stack and make myself feel better. Oh, that's funny. Well, that's the thing too, JT. Good comment, JT. I like that. And that's the thing too, that it's not just imported things that are going to go up. Things that are made here in the U.S. as well are going to go up, because businesses understand that if they can make a product that is being imported with a 25% tariff, they understand that all they have to do to be competitive is keep their prices, you know, maybe 5 or 10% lower than what the imported price is going to be. So they're going to make they're going to raise their prices as well. All right, so we're going to end up paying more. Okay, so it's artificial is what it is. All right, and if there was a free market, check this out. This is how a free market works for those of you that maybe don't understand the concept. But the concept is extremely It's extremely simple. This is what capitalism is, and this is the free market. Capitalism is pretty much an expression of the free market, okay? If you have a pair of shoes that you're selling for $20, and I have a $20 bill, and I want that pair of shoes that you're selling more than I want to keep my $20, then I'll tell you, okay, here's my $20, give me the pair of shoes. Now you are happy because you have $20. That's what you wanted. You wanted a $20 bill instead of that pair of shoes. So now you're happy because you got your $20 bills. But now I'm happy, excuse me, but now I'm happy because I have the pair of shoes I wanted. And it cost me my $20 bill, but the pair of shoes that you sold me for $20, I wanted those shoes more than I wanted my $20 bill. So now I'm happy and you're happy. That's the free market. And I know it's extremely oversimplified the way that I'm discussing it. But if there were two of you and another person had a pair of shoes just like yours and he was selling them for $18, who would I buy it from? If they're the exact same shoes, who would I buy it from? All right, if it's 10% less. Or maybe he was selling it for $15. Who would I buy it from? It's the same pair of shoes. You know, I don't have an alliance with any one of you. I'm going to buy the product that I want for the cheapest price that I can buy it for, as long as I'm satisfied with it. Now, if you have a company overseas that's making pair of shoes, and the quality of those shoes are just as good as the quality of shoes that are made here in the US, but they're selling it for a lot less, who are you going to buy it from? Right? Who are you going to buy it from? You're going to buy what you need to live for as little as you can, unless you are extremely wealthy and you can pay whatever you want for anything and it won't hurt you financially. I mean, some people do that. I've done that before. I've gone and gotten a pair of boots that I wanted, and I've asked for an American-made pair of boots, even though it was priced at almost twice as much as the foreign-made boots that I bought. I ended up having to buy the foreign-made boots because the American-made boots, they didn't fit me right. Even though they were the size of feet that I needed, they just didn't feel right. They did not fit me right. And after everything was said and done, I ended up buying a pair of boots that were imported. You know, and they were about half the price, but they felt right. They fit well. They've lasted me. I'm going on 3 years now with that same pair of boots, and I wear those boots for everything when I go outside and work. You know, so that's the point. So now, if they put a huge tariff on those boots that I bought that were imported, now the pair of boots that are made here that I didn't like, I may not be able to afford the boots that were imported, the ones that I can actually wear and work for me. I may not be able to afford them. Now I'm going to get stuck buying the boots that were made here that weren't as good a quality. See, so I'm not downing American companies. I think that in the US, at least in the past, when we used to produce and manufacture things, we made the best stuff in the world. I mean, get a hold of an old canner made in the US. You know, one of those old pressure canners made in the U.S. Those things last forever, and the ones they make now still last you forever because they're made in the U.S. You know, we make outstanding products, but if you don't have competition, you're going to pay a high price. Competition is kind of like a pressure valve. It allows for prices to find a mean. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stop beating that dog to death. And ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have anything to add on to that, please do, because I may be missing something. You know, I think that competition makes things better and makes things cheaper. Let me give you a quick example, and then I'm going to stop beating this dog to death, okay? All right. Ever since we started this healthcare crap, you know, excuse my French, I apologize. So ever since we started the affordable healthcare, however many years ago it's been, right? Healthcare has gotten what? Okay, more expensive, all right? everybody knows this. This is not a competition on whether it has or hasn't. It's gotten more expensive, okay? Not all medical services have gotten more expensive. Why has healthcare gotten more expensive? There's really no competition. You have some states only have one healthcare insurance that they can pick from. All right. Here in Alaska, I think I just did a test run the other day just to see. I think there was about 5 or 6 that we could choose from. And still, that's not even that many. But some states only have one health insurance that they can choose from. And that's the only one that they can pick. All right. That's not competition. That's why prices are going up. However, go back 5 or 10 years and see how much LASIK eye surgery used to cost. And then come back to now. All right. I remember 5, 10, maybe 15 years ago, my brother-in-law ended up getting LASIK surgery. And it was roughly, for him to get it done, it was like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 roughly. And that was 10, 15 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. $6,000, $7,000 15 years ago is a lot more than what $6,000, $7,000 today is. All right. So him paying $6,000, $7,000 15 years ago would be the same as if he were paying $10,000 to $12,000 today. Okay. Today you can get LASIK eye surgery for a lot less expensive than that. I think I remember hearing, it was hearing, not seeing. I heard a commercial on the radio on my way to work one of these mornings, and they were saying that they could do LASIK surgery for $1,500. Now, even if you go in there, they advertise $1,500. Even if you go in there and they say, well, that was just for this type, it's really going to cost you $3,000, which is twice as much. That's what, they advertise. Even if they say, yes, $3,000 after we do this and this and that, it's still well below half of what we were paying for that same service 15 years ago. Why is that? Because LASIK eye surgery is not covered by health insurance, okay? Therefore, the market has to compete for that. The LASIK eye surgery people, the doctors that do that surgery, they have to compete with each other to give you the best product for the best price. If not, they go out of business. All right, that's the best example I can come up with you. Another one is breast implants. Same thing. Breast implants nowadays, for people that still get them, not only is it a better technology, not only is it less invasive than what it used to be, a couple of decades ago, but it's a lot less expensive than what it used to be. All right, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's like major surgery. All right. So the free market does work. You just have to get out of its way and let it work. When you try to manipulate it, it's going to always backfire on you, because the laws of nature don't care who you are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go to the next one. But hey, this is the channel that I forgot to shout out. And I knew I would remember, because look at that beard. Is that an awesome beard or what? Dark Age Ramblings. All right, if you guys haven't visited Dark Age Ramblings channel, go take a look at it. He is new to the Grand Solar Minimum community. All right, so he's got a Grand Solar Minimum channel. All right, and he just started out not too long ago. So if you guys want to learn more about the Grand Solar Minimum, and you guys want to go check him out, go check him out. I'm subscribed to his channel because I really like following the Grand Solar Minimum, and I like getting different points of views. I don't like to just stick to my main 4 go-to people are Adapt 2030, Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Ice Age Farmer, and there's actually a channel called The Grand Solar Minimum. Those 4. I'm also subscribed to, what's his, I keep forgetting his name because I think he changed his name, but I think it was Ice Age 2050 or something like that. But go check out Dark Age Ramblings. All right, if you like his channel and you like his content, support him by subscribing. And the information that he's putting out there, along with the other GSM community channels, as far as I'm concerned, is priceless. Okay, so go check him out, and at least go check him out. And if you guys like what he's putting out there, support him. and become one of his subscribers. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see if this one loaded. What would you prep more of for a grid down situation, food or water? Okay, let's bring them down here. This one's either going to be one or the other. Let's see. And look at that here. Flash is saying that they received their first snow of the season overnight. And Flash lives in New York. And Delsa here says that prepping in a small house is a challenge. Yes, but you can do it, Delsa. And she says that you need to think outside the box. Yes, you can do it. You can prep anywhere. All right? You can prep in any kind of condition. You know, just think outside the box. Even, listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's say you live in a really small house and you just don't have a lot of room. Guess what? About 3 or 4, depending on where you live in the country, about 3 or 4 feet under the ground, there's a constant temperature of about 50-55 degrees. All right? So even if you have to get yourself a 55-gallon barrel and fill it up with preps and dig, you know, a 6-7 foot hole, you know, deep hole, so you can put your barrel in there and fill it up with 2 or 3 feet of dirt, you can prep. That is a way of prepping. Actually, that's pretty awesome if you did that, you know, because that's not going anywhere, especially if you're the only one that knows where it is. That's not going anywhere, and it's always going to be there for you. All right, so that's actually a pretty good idea if you can do that. So, I mean, and that's pretty extreme, but my point is that you can prep, all right? There is plenty of room in your house for you to at least have a month or 2 or 6 months worth of food. I think everyone who has a bed, even if it's a twin-sized bed, has enough room to prep at least 6 months of food, all right? At least. Unless you have unless you have like 10 or 12 kids. But if you have 10 or 12 kids, then more than likely you have a whole bunch of beds. So there you go. You got a lot more room to store stuff under there. Okay. And Barley Girl here says she bought a water bob and she keeps it in her cupboard. Yeah, that water bob I think is a great idea. I think it's a great thing to have. Let's see. All right. Not a lot of like questions on this one. Oh, this is here. I'm jealous about this one. Valerie Robles says, I live near a lake and 2 reservoirs. Is that awesome or what? I have a Pro Pure water filter and extra filters, and Pro Pure water filters are really good. I got one for my son and his wife too, along with the Aqua Pods. Yep. We can melt down snow in the winter. Yep, and that's great. I mean, and you guys saw me melt that snow here a week or 2 ago when I was testing that Ezzy. It didn't take that much wood, you know, to melt down what turned out to be probably about a liter or so, about 33 ounces of snow, I would say is how much was in there. You know, I would say there was at least 4 cups of water in there, because that's one of the pots that I used to make rice in a lot. So I know what, and I usually make a 2-cup rice pot, which takes 4 cups of water. So I would say there was at least 4 cups of water in there. So yeah. And Valerie says that I prep for the same reason you do. I love my family. And what better reason is there to prep than that, ladies and gentlemen? I really like John D's comment here. Water falls from the sky, food does not. So prep food. Or prep, you know, mainly food if that's all you could. All right, let's take a look at this next one over here. I'm going to try and hurry it up, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't want to make this video extremely long. And this video says here, worldwide debt default is a real possibility. And this was kind of a finance week, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I talked a lot about the economy this week. Oh yeah, this was that video where I showed you a clip of that lady from Hurricane Sandy, and that's yeah, that was an extremely sad situation. I remember when I saw that video with that lady. I mean, it made me want to cry. That is so sad. Yeah. Buzz says, is there an equation using these numbers to predict when the actual or ballpark time frame for the bottom drops? Yeah, it should have already happened, Buzz. Our market should have already, you know, this monetary system we're in, it should have already collapsed a long time ago, right? The average fiat currency lasts, I think it's like 42 years, something like that. And we're well past that on this one. I think the reason is because of technology, because of computers, algorithms, things like that, that they've been able to keep it on. And of course, propaganda, the news, and all those things as well. Okay, and of course, wars. So, you know, there's a lot of things involved in keeping this system running the way that it's been running for a while. You know, a lot of people know that it's crooked, but a lot of people don't. And a lot of people believe about the boogeyman, all right, that we have to go, you know, 6, 7, 10,000 miles away from home to go and bomb someone to democracy. You know, a lot of people believe that because of the propaganda. So there is no equation in my eyes, because there is no rationale to how the system operates. You know, you can't really predict it. If you try to do technical analysis, you know, you're going to miss it. All right, some people are extremely good at it, but the problem is that that's just some people. All right, so I can't say that there is an equation that you can use. I think, and that's why I prep, because if there is an equation that you can use to predict really well when that's going to happen, then you'll just prep right before it happens. So that's why we prep, because we don't know what's coming down the road. And these guys will keep that system going as long as it benefits them. As soon as it stops benefiting them, or they have an agenda by which they can fleece the population once again, then they'll probably let it go. But that's the thing. We don't know when this is going to happen. It should have happened a long time ago, but it hasn't. And in a way, I'm very thankful for that. So we'll see, Buzz. Okay. Oh, and Eddie here says that, I don't remember hearing this, but I think it's a good thing in a way. Trump already said on the news that if there was a country, any countrywide, so systemic disaster, we would be on our own. Yeah. You know what the thing is that's probably true. If there was a systemic wide disaster, we would be on our own, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we would be on our own. I mean, I'm sure that if it was just nationwide, I'm sure that China would be more than happy, and Russia would be more than happy to send over peacekeepers, you know, and humanitarians to come and try to help us. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to bring their troops on our, you know, on our land to try to help us, you know. But more than likely, I'm pretty sure we'd be on our own. Let's see. Delsa Abbas says, simply put, we as a nation are a mess. Yes. In question I have always had is, how much of this mess was started by greed? Well, heck, Delsa, probably all of it. I mean, for those of you, I mean, I guess I can't say I know this for a fact, but if you ask someone what is the most powerful human emotion, most people will probably tell you that it's love, but it's not. It's greed. Greed is the most powerful human emotion, all right? And I think we were made like that on purpose, because in the beginning, you know, when we were living in caves, you had to be greedy to survive. You had to want to get that, I don't know, whatever animal you were hunting at that time before your competitor did, before the tribe next door did, or else you'd starve, you know? But yeah, probably a lot of the messes that go around are caused by, you know, greed and the pursuit of power. There's only so many $1 billion you can have, or trillions, and after that, what does it matter how much more you have? After that, usually people are searching for power. Let's see. Yeah, and Hawaii Volcano Squad here makes a really good point about real estate being something that maybe, you know, from HVS's comment, real estate may not be something great to invest money in, you know? And I'm going to read the comment here. Problem with real estate is it can't get up and run away from the tax man. Third-party risk for real estate is the government raising taxes to pay off their sovereign debt and unfunded liabilities. And that is an excellent point, I think, because if you have excess, you know, wealth, all right, you can turn it into precious metals. You can turn it into any tangible asset you want. But how good of an investment is it really if you put it all in real estate, or most of it in real estate, and then the tax man just comes and starts raising those taxes up, raising them up? You know, how good is that piece of land to you now as an investment or as a hedge? So that was a great comment, Hawaii Volcano. Oh, here, and Gun Noob says, I don't think we have been given the real story about Venezuela. I know for sure that we sanctioned them and have also been working really hard to keep them from trading their oil outside the petrodollar. I think we are the biggest reason that anyone in Venezuela is starving. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with that comment, but I'm not going to read my reply, but I think I remember kind of like what I replied. I really agree with that comment. Read a book by John Perkins. I think it's The Story of an Economic Hitman. I think that's it. The Story of an Economic Hitman. And it's by John Perkins. It tells you exactly what we've done. Because we've done it several times to several countries. We've created a lot of the messes that's going on, all right, through our actions. And I don't mean you and me. I mean the people, you know, running the show. Okay? However, when I talk about these things, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm like, look at what's going on in Venezuela, I don't mean about what caused it to happen. Okay? Because we know there's bad people out there. We know there's bad governments out there. Well, every government pretty much is a bad government. Not too many are. Not too many are good. So we know there's a lot of bad people out there, right? That are going to try to do things to enrich themselves or to empower themselves, okay? My point, whenever you hear me talk about a certain country or a region or whatever, my point is not how they got there, all right? My point is what the end result was, okay? So no matter how the citizens of Venezuela ended up in the destitute situation that they're in, no matter how they ended up there, whether it was because we took them off the SWIFT system, whether it was because we sanctioned countries that bought oil from them, or whatever it is that we did or that anyone did to cause Venezuela to be where it's at, okay? Some people will blame it on socialism, some people will blame it on us, some people will blame it on sanctions. It doesn't matter. What matters the most is those people that you see going through the garbage in Venezuela. When you see a clip, you know, on someone doing a story about Venezuela, had those people prepared, all right, had they done what we're doing, they would have been much better off. Had they taken and put away a little bit of silver, and if they could have afforded a little bit of gold, had they done that for years prior to when this situation started over there, had they done that, they would have been, actually, they would have probably been financially better off today, because the price of silver and gold in Venezuela actually increased higher than their inflation increased, meaning that they became wealthier. They didn't just maintain their purchasing power, they gained purchasing power. So that's my point when I bring up countries like Venezuela and things like that. I'm not trying to say that we didn't have anything to do with it. I'm sure we did, but what I'm trying to say is that look at the end result, right? Had those people, they don't care. Those people in Venezuela that are starving, they don't care how they got there. They don't care why this happened. You know what they care about? Getting some rice for their 3-year-old or for their 10-year-old. That's what they care about. Had they put some rice under their bed, they'd have some rice. Had they stored away a few ounces of silver, they'd have food. Okay, so that's my point whenever I do that. I'm not trying to pinpoint exactly what the causation was. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make this here my last one because we're already going on 45 minutes. So I'll tell you what, I'll just pick one or two from this one and then from the other ones, all right? So I can at least see. Oh, is this the one about the MREs? Oh yeah, I found a whole bunch of MREs. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was awesome. I got another 6 cases of cold weather MREs. And even though, like I said, it's kind of pricey buying them all at the same time, but man, you just can't beat it. $3.16 per MRE. I can't say no to that. And Pray Plan Prepare here says that she's never heard of cold MREs. And she's asking what's the difference. I think what I'm going to do maybe sometime this week, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm not going to review them both because I'm not going to sit there and eat 2 MREs. But what I think I'll do is I think I'll open a pack of regular MREs and then a pack of cold weather MREs and then show you the contents in each of them. That way you guys can see what the difference is. All right, maybe we can go into a little bit of the ingredients, see what kind of a difference there is. All right, so look out for that one. Hey, Jessica Lindsay, thank you very much. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Jessica says, made a huge purchase with your Amazon link. Hope this helps the community. And it does. So thank you very much for doing that. You guys are awesome, man. Let me tell you. You guys are really awesome. I mean, that really makes me feel good that some of you go through that kind of trouble. That's awesome. And I actually had somebody shoot me a message here. I think it was John T or John D. John D shot me a message asking me for a link to some brown bread in a can. So thank you guys. That helps a lot. I mean, that really helps me to keep doing giveaways, and that's, to me, that's the key. You know, I want to get back to you guys for your guys' involvement and for your guys' support. But more importantly, you know why I do the giveaways. I do the giveaways mainly because I want to attract new people to the channel that maybe weren't prepping in the past. And now, and by them, you know, maybe winning, you know, a $15 prize, a $20 prize, you know, something that's not that expensive might really capture their interest and make them want to start prepping. And that to me is the most important part. It's not actually giving stuff away just to give it away, but giving it away for a reason, you know. And if someone who's been a prepper for 20 years, if they win one of the giveaways, let's say they win one, well, then maybe they'll decide to give it to someone else, or they can keep it. You know, they want it, but you know, it's just a win-win for everyone. So I appreciate your guys' support. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one, lady. Wait a minute. Here's one from Vincent. I love reading Vincent's comments. Alaska Prepper, all those cans of Augason Farms whole eggs are great stuff. In Singapore, they are cans of high-protein egg white powder available in health food stores, but they are very costly. And he says that bodybuilders use them, yeah. Okay, here we go. And he says, here you go, for an Augason Farms freeze-dried whole eggs, 33-ounce can, $66. That is incredible. That's too bad. That's incredible. All right. Thank you for that, Vincent. Wow. We have it really good here, ladies and gentlemen. We have it really good in the U.S. for many reasons. So, you should be thankful. All right. This one here, it's going to get cold. NASA scientists are already starting to put it out there in the mainstream media that they were wrong about that. I mean, they said they're like 60% wrong about their model about how the Earth is going to warm. You know? I don't know. I don't even want to get into that one right there. It's crazy. And this is it right here. Douglas March. Cycles are the key. It's what it's all about. It's all a cycle, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to get cold. It's going to get hot. Okay? Why is it that in the earth, why is it so hard for people to understand or accept that we are in a cycle as far as the weather goes, as far as it getting hot and cold? Why do people accept the notion that we are the cause for the earth's temperature? We are not that big. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, think about this. If you took every human in the world, we could all fit in Rhode Island. If they stacked us up like turkeys in Rhode Island, every human in the world would be able to fit there. We'd have about a square meter or something like that. Anyways, I'm not sure if it's exactly a square meter, but we would all be able to fit in that small state. We are not the cause of the changing climate. Are we the cause of pollution? Absolutely. We polluted the hell out of this earth, but that's not going to destroy the earth. You know, it may hurt humanity, but it won't destroy the earth. So I'm not going to get into a debate about that. All right, you guys already know what my opinion is based on the video. All right, but it's all about cycles, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. And if we've been, those of us or those people that have been believing the propaganda over the last few years, if they're not preparing, well, I'm really sorry about that. And Jade Tully, she finally saw a day where it got to the 50s. But then she said that the next day is going back to the 80s. Oh, goodness. We're going to go ahead and rush through this one, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, first of all, thank you very much for joining in today. I hope that we're chatting right now and that we're having a good time chatting. So I appreciate you guys coming in. To tell you the truth, these Q&A episodes, they don't really get a lot of views, but I really like doing it because I like getting on the chat with you guys. For those of you that do like to join in, because to me, that's a lot of fun. See, look at this. All of the people in the know, even Tammy here, she says, I believe it's simply cyclical. Yes, cyclical. Yeah. So let's go to our last one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. Oh, this is the one that I did yesterday. Yeah. So, yeah, this one, I think I had a great comment here. I think it was from Wendy. Yeah, and I'm not going to read this whole comment because it's pretty long. But Wendy pretty much said that in her area, business is booming and that there's a lot of businesses hiring and things like that. And that's great. I mean, I think that's great. I feel that, and remember, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. It's pretty much just a hobby. But I feel that there are places where the economy is doing really, really well. But I think that the underlying fundamentals of the system and the way that it is, I think that that will eventually catch up. There are places too where the economy is not doing very good at all. Okay, so there's a mix. You know, there's a mix in the country right now, and we all hope that it will turn for the better for everyone and not just a few, you know, places. But remember that the economy, or I mean, this is my opinion, but I don't think that as long, all right, this is what I'm trying to say. As long as there is someone dictating what the price of money is, All right. As long as we have a Federal Reserve saying this is what the price of money is, all right, and not leaving it up to Mother Nature to decide what the price of money will be, okay, we don't have a real economy, okay? So we don't have a real economy. So the economy, or the way the economy is looking in some places may be really good, but in some places it's terrible. You know, I follow a couple of other YouTubers. One of them is called Jeremiah Babe. Jeremiah Babe, and I think he lives in Northern California, or I'm not sure exactly where he lives, but I think he was in Vegas not too long ago, and he showed how a lot of the stores in Vegas were closing down, that, you know, that they just didn't have enough business. So, but yeah, we're going to see a lot of places that look like they're doing really, really well. But then there's a lot of places that are not. But I do believe that this video here was mainly about, this is yesterday, right? This is the one about the interest rate. Well, not the interest rate, the unemployment rate. Okay, so we'll see. I mean, that was just my analysis. I can be wrong on that. So, and that's why I depend on you guys to set me straight. But guys, how did you guys like that part where I showed you about the gold and silver to dollar ratio? Is that crazy or what? Just saying that, just showing you that part, for anyone that saw that part where I talked about the gold and the silver ratio to the dollars, or to the paper, if you didn't go out and buy you some silver or gold, if you didn't go out after you saw that, if you didn't go out and buy you some silver or gold, then I'm sorry, okay? Because what that proves to you is this, is that the price of silver and gold is extremely manipulated to the downside. You know, they're telling you that there's, for every 1 ounce of real gold out there, that there are 98 ounces of gold that exist in paper. And unfortunately, the 98 ounces that exist in paper is what establishes the price of gold, because that is what's determined to be the supply of gold, is the paper that we have. All right. So if that doesn't tell you something about the price of gold and silver, how manipulated down they are, and that eventually anything that is manipulated will only be manipulated long enough until it cannot be manipulated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so check this out. To enter this this is what I'm giving away right here. Bam. All right, this is at a really good price. It's a really good product, and you get a really good amount. All right, 16,500 non-GMO heirloom vegetable seeds. All right, it's a survival garden, and it's got 40 different types of vegetables. Okay, so I think this is a great giveaway, because even if you know someone who's not a prepper but they garden, check it out. Hey, here it is for you. Hey, check these out. These things are packaged to last 25 years. Yeah. And there you go. You're literally planting a seed. All right. A lot of these things that I like to give away are things that I think might be thought-provoking for someone that doesn't prep to get it. But also something that if you are prepping and you're the winner, you know you're going to be able to use. But imagine if you gave one of these to someone that you knew, or to someone that you know who's not a prepper but gardens, and you tell them, yeah, these things, as long as you keep them, you know, in your closet, you know, this package here will last 25 years. That's going to open up that conversation. That's going to plant that seed in their mind. Wow, 25 years, that's pretty cool. And yeah, you know, you can probably do this and this and that with some of these vegetables to make them last 25 years. And that's how it starts, ladies and gentlemen. We have to start by planting seeds. All right, that's how we can help each other out and help those out that aren't prepping yet, or those that are thinking about prepping. But ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is I am going to be giving away 6 of these, okay? I'm going to be putting 6 of these out there. So all you have to do is leave a comment on this video right here. Leave a comment. Make sure you're subscribed, okay? And make sure that you hit like, okay? Because don't make me go back and check and see if you like this video. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, just leave a comment on this video. make sure you click like just once. You only have to click the like button once, and make sure you're subscribed. Okay, and I am going to leave this entry open for 2 weeks. So I will not be announcing the winners next Sunday, but the Sunday after that. Okay, that's when I'll be announcing the winners of this heirloom vegetable kit. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, having said that, thank you very much for joining me today. We're running an hour here, just shy of an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off so that we can upload this video that I'm premiering later on in the day. All right, so having said that, remember to be good to each other. Remember that when good people do good things happen. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like. Please share. And if you're not subscribed, I really don't know what you're waiting for. All right, this is the best darn community, period, on YouTube. We may be small, but we're strong and we're tight, right? So hit that subscribe button. Okay, and don't only hit the subscribe button, but participate. All right, get something out of the channel. All right. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to every one of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.